Saw a video recently saying that the world is watching Christians and what they're doing in this time of trouble. And I just wanted to address that real quick. First off, I think people are always watching Christians and seeing what they're doing and how they're living. So we should all try to live the best lifestyle that Jesus set forth as we can, whether bad things are happening or not. And I want to start out by talking about what Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy say we should do with stuff like this. They say all over the time, if you have an unclean skin disease, a defiling skin disease, or this or that other disease, that you should go and live outside the camp for a period of time, depending on what disease it is. Then you should go present yourself to the priest, and the priest will determine whether or not you're clean and can re-enter the camp. I think that still applies today. If you have a really contagious disease, you should avoid yourself. Now, should you go outside town and live in a tent in a field somewhere? I don't think that necessarily applies, because our lifestyle is different. But you should isolate yourself as much as you can if you do have a contagious disease of any type. All right. Now, let's see. I have some notes here. Make sure I can remember what I'm supposed to say. Oh. When the plague happens, usually in the Old Testament, it was because of their sin. Either the sins of the people or the sins of their leaders. And what they would do is they would all gather together. They would pray, fast, humble themselves, and ask for God for His forgiveness. Now, in the Old Testament, the only avenue they had for communication through God was, well, not the only avenue, but one of the avenues that they had was through the priesthood. That's why they'd have to go to the priesthood to be deemed clean again. Well, now in the New Testament, we don't have to do that. Since Jesus died for our sins, we now have a direct line to God. We are our own priest. And Jesus is also our priest. He's our high priest. So we can pray directly to Him and go directly to Him for what we need. So I think we should still fast, humble ourselves, pray, and ask God to forgive us. And forgive us as a community, as a nation. I can make a long list of all the stuff our nation's done that's a sin. And we should humble ourselves and ask God for forgiveness like that. Now, there is no precedent in the New Testament whether we should do that in big groups or we should do it individually in our own homes. Or at least no precedent that I know of. Now, I know you should meet as your family in your home, and your family should be doing this. But I can't say either way whether we should meet in churches or we should be canceling all of our church services. I don't know personally. It's something I am trying to find, but I don't know if that is addressed. But in one of Paul's letters, he's talking, I forget which group of people he's talking to, but he asked them to pray and send aid to their fellow believers in Jerusalem that were having a famine. And we should be doing that. We should be helping out our neighbors. If our neighbor gets quarantined and can't go out, or we have elderly neighbors that shouldn't be going out, or elderly people in our church, or people with compromised immune systems in our church, we should be doing what we can to go out and help those people. And remember that God, no matter what happened, is in control. It's His show. He knows what He's doing. He has a plan. Don't let fear control you. Just pray and ask God what you should do. And thank you and have a great day.